Welcome back everyone. From this video, I'm starting new series on the topic photosynthesis. We know that this is the most important and significant process which occur on the planet Earth that is responsible for life. Entirely all animal kingdom get food from the process of photosynthesis, and this process is mainly occur inside the green plants and some microorganisms. Okay, so in today's lecture I'm going to discuss about introductory part of the photosynthesis, then site of a photosynthesis, where I'm going to discuss about chloroplast, and the last is photosynthetic pigments. Okay, so we know that all the green plants of a kingdom plantae means algae, bryophyta, pteridophyta, gymnosperm and angiosperm, as well as some microorganisms including cyanobacteria or blue-green algae, green sulfur bacteria and purple sulfur bacteria. All these organisms have ability to fix light energy into the chemical energy, okay, or they have the ability to fix light energy and make food. And generally the plants and all these organisms produce the food for themselves, and we use the food which is produced by the plant. So animals are nothing but the parasite on the plant. Okay, and the reaction of the photosynthesis is summarized in a single very simple equation, like in the photosynthesis plant use carbon dioxide, okay, which is generally an inorganic molecule present in the nature. Then they also use water, and from carbon dioxide and water they produce glucose, okay, which is C6H12O6 complex. And in this reaction, water and oxygen gas liberate. Actually, plant perform photosynthesis by using sunlight and chlorophyll pigments. Okay, so what is pigment? Pigment are the light absorbing molecules which is present in the green plants, and they generally absorb the light energy from the sun, and then they convert that energy into the chemical energy. Okay, so first of all I'm going to start with introduction of the photosynthesis. The definition of photosynthesis can be become like this: it is an anabolic intracellular process which occur in all the plants, in which plant use carbon dioxide and water as a raw material for synthesis of glucose, and in the process oxygen liberated. And the process occur inside the plant in presence of sunlight and chlorophyll pigment. Okay, so this is the general definition of the process. Why we call photosynthesis as anabolic process? Because anabolic processes lead to development or synthesis of some molecules. Okay, and in this process glucose is produced, so we call photosynthesis as an anabolic process. This process occur inside the plant cell in a special organ called chloroplast, so we call it as an intracellular process. Okay, and all the plants right from kingdom plant is algae, simple plant, bryophyta, pteridophyta, gymnosperm, to advanced plant like angiosperm have the ability of photosynthesis. And some microorganisms and algae like cyanobacteria or blue green algae and sometimes red algae also have ability to perform photosynthesis. Actually the reaction of photosynthesis take place in two different stages. First is light reaction, while second is dark reaction. Both these reaction combine together to fix CO2 and water in glucose. Okay, so the reaction of photosynthesis is not as simple as this equation. Actually it is a complex reaction divided into two stages. If you want to remember these two stages, then just split the photosynthesis world into two different parts. First is a photo part, which is nothing but the light reaction. Okay, and second is a synthesis part. Synthesis means putting together. Okay, in this process carbon dioxides are absorbed, or from carbon dioxide glucose is produced, so synthesis, okay, which occur in the dark reaction. So photosynthesis is a light plus dark reaction combination. Okay, initially the photosynthesis was reported as anabolic process in which oxygen is liberated from splitting of the carbon dioxide. That means initially scientists believe that CO2 is split, this carbon enter into the carbohydrates while this oxygen liberate. Okay, but this concept was ruled out due to two important experiments which is carried out by C. Van Neel in 1930 and Robert Hill in 1937. C. Van Neel observed that some green sulfur bacteria or purple sulfur bacteria generally use H2S instead of water. Hydrogen sulfide they use instead of a water in the photosynthetic reaction. So what happened due to application or due to use of H2S as a electron acceptor or electron donor, sorry. So what happened, carbohydrates are produced and sulfur is released instead of oxygen. So C. Van Neel proposed that the oxygen which come out in the photosynthesis process actually come from this water and not from the carbon dioxide. And later on in 1937, Robert Hill performed a classic experiment in which he used chloroplast from the spinach leaves. He suspend the chloroplast from the spinach leaves into the water which is without carbon dioxide. And what happened when this spinach leaves chloroplast is added into the water, then he add uh, ferrous or ferric ions as a hydrogen or electron acceptor molecule. Okay, and what happened when he placed the reaction mixture containing water, chloroplast from the spinach leaves and ferric ion as a hydrogen ion acceptor into the sunlight, this oxygen is liberated while ferric ions are reduced. Okay, so what happens when water is combined with the ferric ions in presence of sunlight and chlorophyll pigment, oxygen is released. So Robert Hill proposed that oxygen can release in the photosynthetic process without the need of carbon dioxide. Okay, so this oxygen is coming from water and not from the carbon dioxide. This reaction is also called, this experiment is also called as Hill experiment or experiment of photolysis of water. Okay, because photolysis of water take place in presence of sunlight and chlorophyll and hydrogen ion acceptor which is ferrous. Okay, these two experiments finally prove that in the photosynthesis process, oxygen is directly come from the water due to splitting of the water and not from the carbon dioxide. Okay, so now we are going to discuss about site of photosynthesis, exactly where in the plant this photosynthesis process take place. We know that actually the green plants have two important systems, shoot system and root systems. Okay, and shoot system of the green plant have lateral appendages which is we called as a leaf. Leaf is a flat structure specially made for photosynthesis. That means leaf is the site where maximum amount of photosynthesis occurs. Sometimes it may occur in a green stem, okay, but maximum production of the food or glucose occur inside the leaf. Okay, now leaf is made up of plant cells. We know these things. Plant cells, I have drawn here the plant cell structure, have cell wall, cell membrane and different cell organelles. As it is a eukaryotic cell, it is a complex cell made up of different type of cell organelle like large vacuoles. This is the membrane of vacuoles which we call as a tonoplast. Then these are the chloroplast. This red small structure is mitochondria. Then central nucleus, okay, nucleolus and nucleus contain DNA of the plant cell, as well as peroxisome, Golgi complex, endoplasmic reticulum. All these organs are present inside the plant cell. Out of all this or cell organelle, photosynthesis mainly take place inside the chloroplast. Okay, so I have drawn the structure of chloroplast here. Okay, this is the site of photosynthesis. Actually, chloroplast is a double membrane organ which having outer membrane and inner membrane. Uh, Inside the chloroplast, uh, liquid part is present which is called as stroma. While sac-like structures are present in the chloroplast, they are grana. Chloroplasts generally show 4 to 6 micrometer diameter, while length, while 1 to 2 micrometer diameter. Actually, grana, single sac of the grana is called as thylakoid. Thylakoid. Okay, so as I already told you, the photosynthesis process occur in a two different steps: light reaction and a dark reaction. Inside the chloroplast, light reaction occur in grana. Okay, while dark reaction occur inside the stroma. Chloroplast is also having its separate ribosome, which is 70S type. Generally, plant cell is a eukaryotic cell which have 80S ribosomes, but chloroplast and mitochondria, which is present in the plant cell, have their own DNA and own ribosome, which is 70S type. And the plant, this chloroplast also have covalently closed circle DNA. Okay, this is the structure of the chloroplast. Now we are going to focus on grana. Grana is the site where light reaction occur, and in light reaction, plant take water, okay, and as an electron donor, while in the light reaction oxygen is released. Okay, while in case of dark reaction, plant take carbon dioxide and glucose is produced. So light reaction play role of absorption of light, and then water is used as an electron donor, and from splitting of the water molecule oxygen is released. While in case of dark reaction which occur in the stroma, CO2 is fixed while glucose is produced. Now this reaction which is occur in the stroma require large amount of energy for fixation of carbon dioxide from the nature. Okay, and that energy is provided by light reaction. By absorbing light energy, and the light reaction produce reduce energy carriers like NADPH and ATP. Okay, and from this reduced electron energy carriers, dark reaction run inside the stroma. Dark reaction use NADPH and ATP, and the used product is again recycled in the granum for light reactions. Okay, so three cycles are take place, or three different reactions are take place inside the chloroplast. First is light reaction which take place in the granum. Second is a dark reaction which take place in the stroma, while this cycle also continuously run, in which NADPH and ATP which is required for the light reaction is provided by the grana, and the used product is again recycled, okay, from stroma to the grana. Actually, chloroplasts have many sacs, okay, of the granum called thylakoid, and these sacs are connected with each other with a structure called lamellae. Okay, this is the site in the plant which is chloroplast where the reaction of photosynthesis take place. Okay, if you want to now describe this important reaction of photosynthesis by using this figure, you can find H2O, which we have written here as a reactant, okay, generally used in the light reaction, while the oxygen which is liberated in the photosynthesis liberate from the light reaction. Carbon dioxide which enter in the process actually need in the stroma for dark reaction. This is for light reaction. Okay, and glucose which is produced is actually come from the dark reaction. Okay, so this reaction is not as simple as it look. Actually, it is divided into two different parts: light reaction and dark reaction. Light reaction occur inside the grana with the help of light, so it is also called as light dependent reaction. While dark reaction actually do not require direct light, so it is called as light independent reaction or Kelvin cycle or C3 pathway, because this dark reaction is discovered in 1954 by Dr. Melvin Kelvin. He used algae chlorella for the study of the dark reaction. Actually, the work was done by Kelvin along with his colleague Benson, and both they received Nobel Prize of 1961 for discovery of the dark reaction in medicine and physiology. So this reaction is also called as Kelvin cycle. Okay, the first product when CO2 enter in the dark reaction is a 3-carbon compound. Okay, I'm going to discuss about the dark reaction in my upcoming videos, and so the reaction is also called as C3 cycle. Okay, the main enzyme which take part in the dark reaction is rubisco. Okay, and so CO2 is generally fixed in the reaction with the help of rubisco. What is rubisco? Rubisco is ribulose 1,5-bisphosphate carboxylase oxygenase enzyme. Okay, I'm going to discuss in detail about this enzyme. This enzyme having ability to fix carbon dioxide into the Kelvin cycle and then produce glucose. Okay, this enzyme having both the activities, that means the enzyme can fix carbon as well as the enzyme can fix oxygen depending upon condition and concentration of carbon dioxide or oxygen. Okay, and if carbon dioxide is fixed by this enzyme in the dark reaction, then glucose is produced. It is a normal condition in the plant, but unfortunately sometimes this enzyme also fix oxygen, and if the enzyme fix oxygen O2, in that case a special type of event occur in the plant cell called photorespiration, which is harmful for the plant. Okay, and to avoid photorespiration, plant use some mechanisms. They are C4 pathway instead of C3 pathway. Due to oxygenase ability of the rubisco, plant have to use some alternative pathway like C4 pathway and CAM pathway. Okay, in my upcoming videos, I'm going to discuss about C4 pathway and CAM pathway in detail. Okay, the light reaction mainly occur in the membrane of the thylakoid. Okay, because thylakoid have pigments. What are pigments? Pigments are the light absorbing materials or the compounds, chemical compound which is present in the plant cell. Okay, we are unable to do photosynthesis, and plant can do the photosynthesis only because we do not have the pigment like chlorophyll, while the plant have this pigment. So in my next point, I'm going to discuss about photosynthetic pigments. Okay, generally they have ability to absorb light of a specific wavelength. Every pigment which is present in the plant cell have ability to absorb light of a specific wavelength. We know that light is a waveform. Light is present in the waveform, and there are various types of light, right from the cosmic light, gamma rays, ultraviolet light, UV light, then radio waves, infrared, and finally highest wavelength was found in the radio waves. Okay, visible light portion is generally start from 370 or 390 to 760 nanometers light, and this visible light is absorbed by these plant pigments, and then this pigment use light energy in the light reaction to produce NADPH and ATP. Generally, plants show three different type of pigments, which are chlorophylls, carotenoids, and phycobilins. Essential or major pigment in the plant which take part in the photosynthesis is chlorophylls. Okay, followed by accessory pigment like carotenoids and phycobilins. Chlorophylls are green in color. Why we generally observe plant and they look as a green? Because plant have this chlorophyll pigment. The color of the chlorophyll pigment is green, and there are various type of chlorophyll pigment which is present in the plant, like chlorophyll A, B, C, D, E, then bacteriochlorophyll and bacterioverdin. Okay, so these 7 are the important types of chlorophyll pigment. Chlorophyll pigment mainly absorb light from blue to red region, while they emit light of green wavelength. Okay, and so due to that plant, or we can see plant as a green, because chlorophyll light unable to absorb, chlorophyll pigment unable to absorb green light. Okay, now the two important pigment out of these 7 is chlorophyll A and chlorophyll B. Chlorophyll A absorb blue light which is present in the grana, as well as chlorophyll B absorb red light. Okay, the molecular formula of a chlorophyll is C55H72O5N4Mg, while the molecular formula of chlorophyll B is C55H70O6N4Mg. Okay, if you compare both this, you can find chlorophyll B have 70 hydrogen instead of 72 which is present in the chlorophyll A, while chlorophyll B has 6 oxygen instead of 5 which is also present in chlorophyll A. All other atoms are similar in both the type of chlorophyll molecules. Okay. Next type of a pigment is a carotenoid. The color of carotenoid pigment is yellow to orange, and they absorb blue color light maximum. Generally, there are two type of carotenoid pigments, xanthophylls, okay, and carotenes. Carotenes have molecular formula C40H56, while xanthophyll have molecular formula C40H56O2. Oxidative forms of carotenoid is xanthophylls. Both these pigment play accessory role in the photosynthesis. Main role is played by chlorophyll, while the accessory role is played by carotenoids. Last type of pigment is a phycobilin, which is only present in blue-green algae or sometime in red algae. These phycobilins are generally absent in the plant. Plant only contain chlorophylls and carotenoids. Okay, sometime red algae also have phycobilins pigment, and there are two type of phycobilins, phycocyanin and phycoerythrins. Phycocyanin is a blue in color, while phycoerythrin is a red color pigment. So in this lecture, I discuss about the introductory part of the photosynthesis, in which see Van Niel reaction and Robert Hill reaction. The site of a photosynthesis, actually photosynthesis occur in an organ called chloroplast present in the green plant cells. Now there are three important type of pigment that I have discussed: chlorophylls, carotenoid, and phycobilins. Okay, from my next lecture I am going to start with first reaction which occur in the grana of the plant, say chloroplast, which is light reaction. Okay, and in that lecture I am going to discuss two important type of light reaction that occur in the plant cell, mainly cyclic light reaction or cyclic electron fixation reaction, and non-cyclic flow of the electron. Okay, thank you.